Paul Hickey, we could have talked to for an hour a couple weeks ago, and we unfortunately had just 8 minutes. And I thought, let's bring him back and talk about just something me and Mike talk about often. Mike and I go for walks. He's painfully slow. And that's why I bring a wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
Sometimes when he gets tired, and he's so we're walking down. He's eating fire Funyuns because I'm immensely strong. But when we talk, when Mike and I go on our walks, when I'm pushing him up the grapevine,
Yes.
Here in California, on the 5 freeway north, we talk about metabolic bariatric surgery, a vastly underused treatment. I'm not kidding when I say that because Paul Hickey is the president and CEO of a company called Reshape Life Sciences. And they are in the business of bariatric surgery. They've carved themselves a niche in the market for what's called minimally invasive bariatric surgery. So basically what they're doing, it's what is, I think, known as the lap band system, which means and he's going to slap me around a little bit when I say this wrong. But imagine your stomach being like a football, and let's say it's partway inflated, and you take the top of the football and just squeeze it so you got a little ball here and the big ball here. This little pouch up here, as he called it, if you get full when your stomach's filled up, right?
Right.
Well, if your stomach's only this big, you're filled up fast.
Quicker.
I think that's right. I give you Paul Hickey, the president and CEO. By the way, their company stock symbol is RSLS. How are you, Paul? How did I do there? Was that?
Yeah, I love the analogy. I'm a sports guy, so football analogy I'll start using myself. But
is that the national champion?
That is indeed.
Yeah. Excuse me. I see.
Go blue.
See a moment.
Go blue.
Go blue.
Victor's
Go blue. Football blue.
Concrete heroes. Let's go.
Did we? Yeah. Okay. Do we end up? Is he going to be Charger coach? Will he be the Chargers coach?
He is.
Now?
Jimmy Harbaugh?
It's done?
Yeah, it's done.
He is. His first draft just happened a couple weeks ago.
See, I've been busy watching the Phillies.
That's okay.
All right, Hickey, tell us what's going on. How close did I come there with the pouch analogy? Because when you explained this last time, I think, well, the reason there's a little pouch there is because when you fill up your stomach, you're still eating till you get to here, then you stop eating. I'm not hungry anymore. So what you're doing is that right?
Exactly. And
I'm sorry. Did you say exactly?
I said exactly.
No, exactly.
I think it's a good analogy to use. I explain it the same way to people at times. It's adjustable, so you can take that same football, and if you can't eat enough or you're eating too much, you can tighten it or loosen it, depending on your tolerance for that therapy.
Paul, do people make the mistake of, and this is a mistake I would certainly make, hey, I got the surgery or I got the implantation.
Let's go have Funyuns.
Let's go to Golden Corral 24/7. I mean, how much is?
But the problem is you can eat a teaspoonful, right?
True,
before you get full.
Right, but
you're eating stuff you want to eat. Is that what you're saying?
Well, that's it. But how much is that mental gymnastics also part of the equation where you've got to do a lot of lifestyle altering?
Yeah, it's. I think as you read up on the disease of obesity and people who are struggling fighting that disease, you realize it's not just behavior and modification of one part of your life, right? Your foods that you eat certainly aren't helpful in sort of driving and feeding that disease and causing you to have an issue with your weight. Certainly mental health is tailwind for obesity, and there's other things, other factors, but these surgeries have to be punitive, and it's one element of it. When you go out to eat after Outback, after whether it's a lap band or a gastric sleeve bypass, you're just not going to feel as hungry to go into Outback, and secondarily you're not going to be able to eat very much at all. The surgeries, by and large, don't tolerate large amounts of food consumption. So yeah, it's going to be a light bill at the end of your stay at Outback.
And Paul, I had a question about the GLP-1s, that Ozempic and all the other drugs that are on the market now. How is that? Do they work in tandem with the lap band, or those seem to be in question as how safe they are to take, and are they being overused? Do you need to do them in tandem, or you would just get the lap band procedure?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, it's sort of a historic time for obesity and the obesity market. And the GLP-1s, were introduced late 22, but really hit the market in 23 with supply chain issues and other things hitting last year for the companies that provide those. But the onset of those is allowing people that are going to avoid surgery to start talking to their healthcare professional to try drugs. And these drugs, GLP-1s, are very helpful, very beneficial. And there are, questions out there with them, but there's no question in my mind they're here to stay. What we're seeing is we're getting people who are on the sidelines, not really addressing their weight and the disease of obesity, and they're starting to talk to their healthcare professionals about potentially getting on GLP-1s. Those that do are going to likely plateau between 12 and 18 months. You can only lose so much weight with the GLP-1s, and that's where we're seeing combination therapy, where someone may have gotten a taste of weight loss with the GLP-1s and they've plateaued. They're 300 pounds. They've lost 20%. Now they're down to, 240 and want to lose another, 40 pounds or more. They might look at a bariatric surgery, and that's where we think the lap band is well positioned for that. But you're right. There's combination therapy. You can try the GLP-1s, Wegovy, Zepbound, Ozempic by itself and see how you tolerate that. And for some, that might be, the best and the only therapy needed. But I think for many, many others, we're going to see more aggressive procedures, including the bariatric surgeries that are performed necessary for those individuals.
Paul Hickey, the pride of Ann Arbor, Michigan, President, CEO, Reshape Life Sciences, stock symbol RSLS, with us here on the Big Vision.
Hey, I got a question because you sent me an article, Paul, regarding, or I think it was you, regarding bariatric surgery being a vastly underused treatment. Here's my question, and I want you to move my needle on this, because I know for me, if I start moving my okay, and eating right, and you can see me on TV going from here to here to here to here to here over the years of being on television. Yet they say obesity is a disease. Now, if it is a disease, which I sort of believe it is, because I see some people that don't eat anything and they're still and they can't seem to lose weight. I think that is a metabolic or physiological thing. But very quickly, if it's just a matter of, I think your technology has proved that the opposite. Because if these big giant people, which I was one of, I was a taco shy of 400 pounds at one point, one more burrito.
Yep.
Back this right. 30 years ago. The fact of the matter is I couldn't do anything until, if I were walking into your office today, I bet you'd say your success rate is going to be about 95%. Now, that doesn't mean it's a disease. You just cured something in me. I'm eating less. You're not, right? So move my needle on how that works, please.
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think that's something that has to gain more understanding to the general population. Why is it a disease? It's been thought of so long as just bad habits and lack of activity, lifestyle, right? Food, diet, and lifestyle. The fact is that there's so much that goes on with their hormones and your desire to eat, and the brain, I think, becomes imbalanced with the stomach, and ultimately drives more hunger, less satiety, so you don't feel as full with the same amount of food as you eat.
Yeah.
A lot of studies have been out there just sort of showing that food is a part of this, where the large cohort of individuals were studied over in Europe, and one cohort of the study had just normal diet and caloric intake. The other one, they put on an artificial sweetener, but the same calorie intake. What they found was that the cohort that had the artificial sweetener actually just ate more during the day. Wow. Because of that feeling, that addiction. It's not truly an addiction, but that the hormone release when people see a food they like, or smell a food they like, or taste a food they like.
His name is Paul Hickey. Paul, I can tell you what, we want to have you back again and again, because every time we talk to you, this could be an hour. I think we should do a special on this. Okay, and we should get a couple guys with our voices, say, "Oh, look what we did." We could act like we were on it. Because the question I'm dying to ask him is this. Apparently obesity is not a disease, because I can cure you by you eating less, and I can make you eat less.
But
so is it a disease anymore?
And how many people?
Paul Hickey for president, by the way. You're coming to San Diego, pal. It's not a big ass.
How many are technically obese that don't even know, that have no clue? They're like, I'm healthy.
Yeah, right. RSLS is the stock symbol. You can go to reshapelifesci.com. You're going to see more of him, I promise you. I'm going to hunt him down and make him see it. Could we spend an hour with this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I have questions about recovery. I've got questions about.
Wait a minute.